First of all, thank you for the moderator's introduction. Huawei has delayed by the time, but it's good. And you know that it's difficult to get a taxi, but I see the audience came in one after another. Today I want to talk about in the journey of cloud native, what we have done in Ali Group, some of the progress and our contributions. And we talked about cloud native. The first topic is that why we want to, what is cloud native, why cloud native, and why we want to do cloud native. And I should say that in recent years, some experience, some practice, some projects, I want to share with you our understanding of cloud native. One of the objectives of Ali Group is to enhance the resources utilization efficiency. Started early on, we used the virtualization technology such as container to have a lower overhead and convenience. Next, and we use a scheduler so that we can better to have a less package rate. To lower the fragmentation, we try to use storage networking technology to stabilize our resources. By these progress, we have increased Ali Group's resource efficiency. Secondly, another goal of a cloud native is to improve the developer's efficiency. That's why we quickly try technologies such as Kubernetes. We help to do the orchestration for the developers to automate the deployment. After that, we try to improve our CI/CD system from R&D to deployment, shorten the time from code writing to online, and to have a higher iteration efficiency. At present, we are developing new technologies such as a service mesh, and the middleware is downloaded to the middleware. We are able to manage these capabilities in multi-language scenarios. We are able to offer such capabilities. And after these two things done, Ali Group infrastructure is becoming more open. And in open field, in our community, it has a better integration. There are two benefits. The first one, and the more open technologies could be localized in Ali Group, and we can try some advanced technologies and to improve the Ali Group's infrastructure. On the other hand, some practice within Ali Group, and it can be spread out to the external environment. And secondly, and together with the developer, we want to build up a more open ecosystem. And fourthly, and Ali Group on its transition to the cloud, and many companies also have a similar progress. And we hope that Ali Group can have more stable and smooth transition, because cloud native helps to minimize the differences between different clouds, to offer a common or universal API so that you can have better transfer between different clouds. And let's look at the Ali Group and its cloud native technology. Just now we talked about containers as well as the orchestration deployment. Today, if you want to do the cloud native, and we can start with Kubernetes to do your cloud native. There are two reasons behind it. First of all, Kubernetes has become the core of cloud native, and the differentiation of the resources is minimized. No matter you use different kinds of clouds, you are able to find a Kubernetes service. On the other hand, Kubernetes has a lot of business to the upper land, and such as AI, machine learning, and many kind of ecosystem in Kubernetes. And Kubernetes, and it has become a core of it. And the second thing is that Kubernetes is also a platform for platform builders. And it is kind of platform where that you can expand yourself by Kubernetes. You can build up a more sound and complete platform based on Kubernetes, and a platform catered to your business. That's why we want you to start your cloud native from Kubernetes. And of course, why Ali Group adopts Kubernetes? We encountered many challenges. The first thing, we think that Kubernetes used to be a very young project, whether it is able to hold a large volume business of Ali Group with so diversified business scenarios, especially shopping festival on Double 11, on the peak usage. And we make some exploration, experiment, and improvement on Kubernetes. First of all, the object number from 2 gig to 50 gigs, 25 times higher. On the other hand, and 5,000 nodes and up to 10,000 nodes. And the third one is that, and there is an end-to-end latency from 5 seconds to 100 milliseconds. And a lot of things we work with upstream. We want to spread it to the upstream. And I hope that and we want to enjoy the benefits of the technology together with Twitter, and we want to have co-construction, and then we can share these benefits to more communities. And scalability. Scalability is something ongoing process. This is highly sophisticated. And we try to optimize it, this one, and the next day maybe the other business not so good. And there are several things. First of all, and it's very important to follow the workload. And what is important, what is less important. When you have this information, and you need to do these performance analysis. And a lot of people talked about performance and which one is bottleneck. And in Ali Group, we want to use the fixed way to make analysis to find out the bottleneck to address it. And the second thing is that Kubernetes, which is very extensible, and under such a structure, and we can easily and have these components within it. And in order to solve these problem and to respond to the cost-effective or cost-sensitive scenario, we have our own. We have our own dispatcher, and we didn't use a centralized way. And we have our own P2P dispatcher. And of course, and we will also use that in our P2P dispatcher. And of course, and I think Kubernetes can work very well. And I think that Kubernetes is able to support most of the scenario worldwide. So scalability is no longer a problem to Kubernetes. The second thing I want to say at Ali Group, what we are exploring is how to transfer it into Kubernetes system. And at Ali Group, this is not something done overnight. We have experienced several generations of architectures. At the beginning, we only used the Kubernetes to support container resources. At Ali Group, we have a system container, and the system container is more like a virtual machine. And the pod system on the upstream use VM to use a system convener. And signally, and we hope that we want to introduce Kubernetes, and we want to have these Kubernetes resources to it, and could automatically manage this system container. In order to incorporate well with the cloud native, and to simplify and lightweight our system, and we use a lightweight container into a port. And of course, in past system, by automatic way, we can put it into Kubernetes so that the maintenance system becomes very cloud native. Just now I talked about its scalability. It is very good, but one of the things, one of the biggest challenge is the maintenance as well as its ambient operation. We have a lot of Kubernetes cluster management, and on the platform we have more. And how could ensure the stability of the Kubernetes cluster? This is very important. This is something we want to talk about. The first thing I want to say, how to manage Kubernetes master. And of course, we have some very innovative way, that is Kubernetes on Kubernetes. And first of all, we have a Kubernetes a cluster, and then those non-starters nodes, we can manage these nodes by Kubernetes automation. And that is to Kubernetes manage Kubernetes, to stabilize the users on Kubernetes. Secondly, Kubernetes is run on the workers, on its service, without influence the service. And we must to enhance our management over these functions. You need to be very cautious. Within Ali Group, in upgrading node number, we also scaling up our scalability and a better way to manage them. Thirdly, we try to have a stadium and static and productive. And the new version of Kubernetes tested in a new environment you need to stress out the cluster in the real working scenario and then promote it to productive environment. And I think that such kind of way and can give you one layer of prevention to make it easier and stabilized. And the other thing is that to enhance the observability and monitor and logging capability. And so that very easily, and we can find out the problems and prevent these problems, and so that we identify the root cause. And there are several quick questions. And the first one is that from these new areas, and there is no burden, historical burden, and such as AI, machine learning, or something we have done, and that is a mini-service architecture, container architecture, all of which are very good opportunities for us to try cloud native. And many companies are now transitioning to the cloud. And this is the chance for you to become cloud native. In such a transition, you need to upgrade your architecture. Why not make it even better like a cloud native? Thirdly, we need to find out the pain points to try to promote cloud native. In Ali Group and in some large volume, and resource allocation is very important. But to some startup companies, smaller companies, developer happiness is one of the reasons we need to use developer efficiency to promote cloud native transition. And then your maintenance and operation system will becoming more robust. From code writing to the full production will be shortened so that you can make your developer happier. The last thing, I hope that by community strength, if you already use Kubernetes or cloud native, you can share more your experience. Ali Group, like ours, we share cloud native, and this community is a backup and to localize the cloud native at your own site. I want to say Kubernetes and cloud native has been verified and tried in Ali Group. And it brings a lot of benefits to our company. And we also believe that cloud native or Kubernetes could work for everyone. It now works for Ali Group. I believe it is able to bring the convenience and benefits to all of you. Please try Kubernetes and cloud native. Now I want to talk about the contribution at open source. And we're going to have the new version and the etcd 3.4, and we have a lot of developer as our partners, as I shown in the slide. In the release, we have 200 improvements, and we focus on the performance of etcd, such as storing, writing, reading, especially at some critical scenario. It have more and stronger stabilities. And on the other hand, and the container, and it's about the container standardization. Container D is one of the earlier containers, and most of the companies haven't have it. And in order to standardize it, and within our company, we try to have the Control D. And at present, we already have Container D in operation at 50,000 nodes. And I believe this is the largest Container D deployment. And surely, with this improvement, we have over 100 improvements as well. And of course, and we have our own open source project, Dragonfly, contributed to CNCF with 30 production users use it. And recently, we make it from Java to Go language, and for better contribution to the community. Apart from these things I already mentioned at Kubernetes, we also try something very innovatively. I want to mention one that is Kubernetes Multi-Tenancy, as known to all, and probably you will have a lot of capabilities, but there are some challenges. First of all, the tenants are still sharing the same AP server, some performance problems, and API does not offer very strong isolation. Some global resource difficult for you to share across containers, and you cannot create a namespace at your own wish. We want to offer a multi-tenancy capabilities. Every user can have virtualized foster.
To provide them with an independent API server, and just like to use the local cloud native and to create a cluster level resource. And here are several challenges. For instance, at the bottom, at the base, actually for the resource, we'd like to share them in order to improve efficiency and also efficacy. And therefore, we use the Kubernetes architecture. And how can we ensure that for the users, they can create a synergy with the base? Actually, we have a synchrony and to do the synergy. And actually, to do multi-tenancy based on Kubernetes is quite a challenge. And we have the VR agent function, and in order to enable the multiple communications between Kubernetes and the tenancies. And actually, we have done the POC within Alibaba, and also we have moved it upstream, and also it has got the approval of the multi-tenancy. And also in the future, we will open our code to upstream, and we welcome all of you to participate in the build of this function. And also for this, this is another project, OpenKruise. This is an open source project as well, and actually it galvanized the Alibaba's best practice in the recent years. The OpenKruise, its goal is to automate everything on Kubernetes. And we'd like to provide automation platform and also tools, and enable people to better construct their own platform on Kubernetes. And also for the workload part, we have already do the open source, and we'd like to provide a better workload management capability and enable you to manage the Kubernetes and also the clusters. And you can scan the QR code and to see our GitHub page. And here we also have a WeChat group, and you can and actually the password for this WeChat group is 0626. So if you are interested in, you can join our WeChat group. And actually we have 3 different capabilities. One is a broadcast job. And a broadcast job is a layer of abstraction, and it can enable the job to run at every node. And so for the job level operation, it is a great help. And when you want to do the cleanup and also operation installation on every node, then you can use a broadcast job to enable you. And also we have the Sidecar Set to manage service mesh, and also to manage sidecar containers at scale. And actually it decouple the management and also decouple the life cycle, and to really maintain the advantage of a service mesh. And also we have the advanced Stateful Set. This is a controller, and it has 2 major improvements. The first is, in order to increase the stability of deployment, we have the in-place updates. So you don't have to create a new pod every time. So here you can upgrade the pod locally, and this can really lower the burden of a scheduler. And also when you do the upgrading of a pod, and there is the process, there is the sequence, and also certain scenarios, this sequence is really useful. But at some other scenarios, we can really manage the process. And therefore, in the advanced stateful set, we have the max available support, and also to enable to have a better pod management and also creation. And we have open source the 3 functionalities, and also in the future we will open source for more and more functions from Alibaba. And we'd like to welcome you on board, and we'd like to know what our developers want, and to keep pace with the development of community. So I'd like to call out for all of you to be on board with us. And apart from our technology development, we also have made a lot of contribution to the community. And together with CNCF, we have opened an online course for Cloud Native. It is free of charge, and we galvanize more than 20 professionals in Cloud Native. And also, it is aligned with our CKA test. And after learning the course, you can pass. I hope that you all can pass the CKA test, and you can scan the barcode here to join us. And also, we focus on sharing. For instance, this year we have been in 4 cities, and we have 800 attendees, and also we have more than 11,000 online viewers. And we have many interesting topics in all these meetups. And apart from meetups, we also have write some articles. For instance, every week we have a weekly report and also article, and we will galvanize all the interesting news and also information about the latest cloud native technologies in this Cloud Native Weekly. And I welcome all of you to look to find us in GitHub, and also you can contribute to Cloud Native Weekly as well. And from Alibaba's perspective, we believe that Cloud Native needs everyone. And everyone needs to participate in this journey to devote code to define and shape the future of a Cloud Native, and also to grow the Cloud Native community not only in China but also in the world.